Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about the NBA. The Indiana Pacers are off to an awful start to the season at 10-16, and they're rumored to shop some of their top players. What I want to talk about today is one of their top players and where he could end up after the NBA trade deadline. Again, I'm Alec Walt. This is Down the Block Sports. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Yes, the 10-16 Indiana Pacers are looking like they're entering sell mode, have put Karis LeVert, Myles Turner, and Domantas Sabonis on the trade block. Specifically today, I want to talk about Myles Turner. Turner currently leads the NBA in blocks per game, is one of the best defensive players in the league, has the diversity to play both the 4 and the 5, so he should have a ton of interest around the NBA. I want to talk specifically about 4 teams that could be in the mix for a trade for Myles Turner. Now, Turner's so good defensively, it wouldn't be surprising if every team in the NBA had interest in a player like him. But being realistic, starting at number 4, let's start with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves have been aggressive to build a team around Karl-Anthony Towns. They acquired D'Angelo Russell. They drafted Anthony Edwards. They've also pieced together some young players they've acquired through the draft. They made a pretty big trade in the offseason acquiring Patrick Beverley, and the Timberwolves look like a team that has the chance to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. They are currently 11-13 on the season, which isn't great. They're obviously only a game out of being out of the hunt for the play-in game. So when you look at Minnesota, they need another guy if they want to stay alive here in the Western Conference. Yes, they have that dominant big 3. They don't have much experience around those guys. I think adding someone like Turner would make a ton of sense. Now, the Timberwolves defense has been much better than I expected this season. I think the front office focusing on adding better defensive players has paid off here earlier this season. So the season is nowhere close to being done. Again, they're still below 500, but I think going for another big man, pairing Karl-Anthony Towns and Myles Turner, improving the defense even more. He has 2 years. He only has 1 year remaining on his contract, so it's not going to bury you from a financial standpoint. So they still have that big 3 of Cat, D'Lo, and Anthony Edwards. I think adding another solid big man into the mix and improving that 4 spot would be a smart decision for the Timberwolves. Let's go to number 3, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks have one of the best players in the NBA, but they, like the Timberwolves, are sitting 11-13 on the season. His co-star in Kristaps Porzingis has been solid this year from a statistical standpoint, but they need more in Dallas if they want to be a true contender in the Western Conference. Now, I know everyone is talking about conditioning in regards to Luka Doncic, but when you look at their depth chart in the front court, really outside of Porzingis, it's not great. I mean, Willie Cauley-Stein, Dwight Powell, Boban Marjanovic, and Moses Brown are not getting the job done in the 5 spot. I mean, this team simply needs better rim protection. They do. And I mean, like I mentioned before, he has the versatility to play both positions. I think he's exactly what the Dallas Mavericks need. You have scoring with Luka Doncic. You have scoring with Tim Hardaway Jr. Jalen Brunson has been a solid 6 man coming off the bench, but it is so obvious where they need to improve. And, I mean, Willie Cauley-Stein has not really done much since he's been in the NBA. Boban's a body. Powell, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of them giving him that extension a little bit ago. So, I mean, maybe they can get something out of Moses Brown, but clearly it's not happening here in 2021. So outside of Doncic, they need help. And if they can find a way to add that solid piece in the front court next to Kristaps Porzingis, they're also not the best shot blocking team in the NBA, which again doesn't really surprise me. Luka's supporting cast simply isn't that good. And I don't think we're really saying anything too out of the ordinary here. Again, he has Kristaps, but outside of that, they need some massive help in their front court. Let's go to number 2. And this is the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks are a team that has a center that is very well liked amongst the Knicks fans. He did just get benched, and you look at their front court, you know, Tom Thibodeau loves aggressive shot blocking big man. He loves the Nerlens Noel type players. I think if Myles Turner found a way to go to New York, he would fit in absolutely perfectly under Tom Thibodeau. I can't even think of a better fit between the two. You have an aggressive big man that's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's also a shot blocking machine with a coach who does very well with high upside defensive players. I mean, he would fit in perfectly next to Julius Randle in their front court. The New York Knicks need to make a move. Their big offseason addition, Kemba Walker, getting everyone talking, stealing a player from a rival after they signed him after the trade, and that whole mess happened this offseason. He's been benched. Mitch Robinson, same thing. Nerlens Noel is currently the starter in New York. Now, that's not technically a bad thing, as Nerlens Noel has been rock solid ever since he played for Tom Thibodeau and the New York Knicks. But I think if they could find a way to have that center rotation be Myles Turner and Nerlens Noel, you got two dudes who are perfect for Tom Thibodeau. I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch was included in the trade. They also have guys like Obi Toppin, young players like that. I wouldn't trade Emmanuel quickly, especially with the need for a guard and having Alec Burks now in the starting lineup. So the Knicks have some young players they can shop in a deal. They are going to have a need for a center because I truly am not convinced that Mitch is going to get a deal after this season. So you want to get them headlines in New York? You want to build a team that could possibly make a run here? I think they should go after Myles Turner. Finally, number one is the Charlotte Hornets. They, in my opinion, have done a terrible job because since they drafted LaMelo. I love LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball is one of my favorite players in the league. This is in no way, shape, or form his fault. But when a young player is on a cheap contract, you need to maximize the team around him. You know, I understand Charlotte's not LA. It's not a free agent destination. There's not much business opportunities in that city outside of the game of basketball. But they needed a center. It wasn't any, when you watch them, you notice it. And their move was going after Plumlee. Now, that's no discredit to Plumlee. I don't think he's terrible, but you want to find a team that can make some noise while LaMelo Ball's on his rookie contract, and your move is going after Plumlee because he was cheap and didn't kill you financially. Hayward's contract's huge, but the time is now to get the talent. And when you look at the Hornets, they do have some young players on the wing. Bridges, PJ Washington. They could even include include Plumlee in a deal as well to get Turner. But I feel like I've been talking about the Charlotte Hornets and Myles Turner for years at this point. He is a athletic shot blocking big man, which they don't have. They're a team that's long and versatile, so he's not going to have exactly a Domantas Sabonis next to him in the front court. He's likely going to be Bridges or Washington, whichever one doesn't get included in a potential trade, as well as like guys like Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, Terry Rozier, and LaMelo Ball. That's a very solid team in my eyes. But I think they could do something in the East if they get a true big man. Because when you're in that division, you got to go up against Capella, John Collins, Montrezl Harrell, Bam Adebayo. You need someone legitimate down low to do something. He improves their defense. He improves their legitimacy. He makes them a very interesting sleeper team in the Eastern Conference if he can pair with LaMelo Ball. Imagine that, Lob City. Oh, my God. Get LaMelo the talent while he's cheap, because he won't be cheap for much longer. So what do you think of the future of Myles Turner? Where do you think he could get traded? Do you agree with my teams? Do you disagree? Is there another team you think I should mention or should have mentioned on the show? Feel free to comment that below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Down the Block Sports for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.